enough to pull off the fence for me. Our supervisor taking it. Poor back abandoned up on the fence at the football field.
Call this meeting to order. It is Monday, November 10th. This is our regular staff meeting. We're going to break with tradition and start with Robert because he has something better to do than sit here all day. So go ahead, Robert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Robert Beal, Sheridan County Airport Manager. Thanks for letting me cut in line here. I just had a couple items. We did open up bids for the building conversion, building number 5. This is the formal FedEx building. So I did end up with 2 proposals, or 2 bids, one from Axe Build and one from Odell Construction. Odell came in at about a little over $225,000. Axe Build was at a little over $175,000. And so that does fit within the airport's budget on what we're planning for. So I'll have a notice of award coming to you guys shortly. Had a lot of questions on canceled flights if we were being affected by the government shutdown. As of right now, we have not seen any canceled flights, and looking forward, got updated information through Wednesday and no canceled flights up until that point.
Just no promises when you get to Denver.
Yeah, exactly. That's only Sheridan to Denver.
Yeah.
And then just wanted to pass along, I was going to be headed down to Laramie tomorrow for the governor's business. Should be back in office midday Thursday. Also, the leasing committee, I did reach out to Bruce Garber, and he was more than happy to join us. Wasn't sure if there was any other recommendations from members of the public. We discussed having maybe a couple, so I don't know if there's any recommendations there, but if any ideas there, you can let me know and I can reach out. So
Yeah. Okay.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
I know God showed a little bit of interest when I talked to him about it. And that's a guy by the name of Jeff Freeman, and he'll be, whenever his plane gets fixed down in, I think it's in Georgia now, he'll be have his plane up here, but he utilized the airport quite a bit.
okay,
And he's a retired Chinook owner,
okay,
business owner, so I think he can give you a pretty good,
some insights there.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I
I'll
guess if
talk
I
to
can
you some more and have him call you.
Okay, perfect. Sounds good. And then last time item I had, I did have another maintenance tech give me notice, put it in 2-week notice. That is a position I'd really like to replace, especially going into winter time. We'll see overtime continuing to increase with snow removal operations, and already down 1 position from last year. So it's a position I definitely like to refill if I can.
Yeah, I don't think there's any issue with that. Does anybody have an issue with that? I mean, it's a position that is already there, so.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Since we've made motions on all of them before, I would take the motion to allow Robert to refill the maintenance tech position.
Is this motion, and I'll need a second?
Yeah.
I'll second that then.
Here we have motion and second discussion. Anyone? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Aye, opposed? Motion passes. Anything else, Robert?
That's all I got.
He was hiding it. He's not even here.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Robert. Back to regular order. Mark?
Morning, Commissioners, Mark, River County Planner. Just an update quickly on the planning and zoning meeting of November 6th. The Casa de la Brunza minor subdivision was recommended for approval. It's just a 2-lot deal on Claiborne Avenue. You'll probably be seeing that on December 16th, depending on when the city of Sheridan does its magic. So we'll kind of have to wait for them to do their recommendation, provide their comments before you folks actually do yours. So shouldn't be any issues on that one. The Bighorn Rec Center CUP was recommended for approval, various conditions on it. That would be in your wheelhouse on December 2nd. And then a rezone for just a little over 100 acres on McCormick Road from the Clearwater folks was recommended for approval, and then that would also be on your December 2nd agenda. So, and they're anticipating doing 3 lots if the rezone goes through. So, let's see, the planning and zoning January meeting is going to be scheduled for January 8th. Normally it's the first Thursday. Well, first Thursday is January 1st. So we've got that rescheduled. And because of quorum concerns, our regularly scheduled meeting for the planning and zoning in December, it's kind of up in the air right now. So not sure what we're going to do with that. Apparently we have members who are not able to attend. So anyway, that's about all I have at this point. Construction's busy as just blasting right on ahead into winter here. So it's interesting, our total number of dwelling units, and that's everything. That's cabins, houses, trailers, multifamily, is up to 96 units for the year. So it's amazing. Just around how much growth in the unincorporated areas we're seeing. So anyway, that's all I have. Any questions? Questions for Mark?
Actually, Mr. Chairman, that's a question for I was at planning and zoning meeting, and I found out earlier that in the day I talked to our IT Mark, and he said that he felt comfortable with Zoom meeting anywhere on the globe. The question was brought up by one of the planning zoning board members as to whether or not that was, if we could do that, if they could attend the meeting on Zoom, if it would be legal. And I said that I thought we need to check into that. So I guess the question is for you.
Yeah, it would be legal.
That's what I thought. I didn't want to go out on a limb and say something without checking, but I figured it was all right to do that, so.
Yeah, it's more, Commissioner, it's more of a question of practice and,
Right.
that level of, as opposed to legal, illegal, that's.
And we have a problem with quorum with that particular body, and I'm thinking that if we can get a quorum, that makes our lives a lot easier.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
I think part of the previous conversation, Commissioner Arzi, is kind of what Clint was saying about practice and, respecting the folks who are bringing applications before the board and looking at faces on a screen. If you say you're going to be able to make it when we interview you, you should be able to make it. And I think in an emergency situation, maybe I'd be okay with it, but I would not want that to be the norm.
I agree.
100% agree too. Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I would agree that we don't want Zoom to be the commonplace. We want people to be able to come and see and talk to the planning and zoning commissioners. I would also agree in this instance, so that we're not having to deal with a quorum issue, that maybe we can look at it. And then maybe we need to have a discussion with our planning and zoning commissioners to really reiterate from us, hey, you guys signed up for this. You need to make sure that you're here. Your attendance is
Very important.
very important. So,
Yeah, I think it's a slippery slope to start that. And, before you know it, we have TV screens up here and nobody's here, except the people applying for a rezone or whatever. On something completely different, Mark, the Clearwater rezone request, was that to go from ag to rural residential?
Yes, that's correct.
And what would the lot sizes be? Just
They're proposing 2 20 acres, I believe, and 1 is the balance, for roughly 60 acres, something like that.
So not a conservation design
No.
subdivision.
At this point, they've chosen not to pursue that development option. It's certainly there, would not require a rezone,
Yeah.
And I pointed those things out to the planning commission. So,
Okay.
it's certainly a viable option at this point, that they chose not to. The problem with it, you know, they indicated that, yeah, this is all the laws are gonna do, this is all we're gonna apply for. The problem with the rezone application is you can't condition it, is my understanding. You cannot put a condition on it, so they could not put a condition on a rezone. Once it's rezoned, it's rezoned.
Yeah.
You know, there's no, it's not like a CUP. It's not like any other, some of these others, you know,
I got it.
so, yeah, so that's their proposal.
Okay.
So,
Thank you very much.
gotcha. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Mike, for coming here. I appreciate it.
Kim?
Morning, Ken Muller, County Engineer. Just a couple updates, few things. We got the bridge sign up on the historic bridge on Monarch. Certain community land trust couldn't get to it for a while, so we just went ahead and put it up. So looks good. Adds to their Black Diamond Trail. Willow Avenue Road and Bridge got done. Making it's a road now through there. So we'll go ahead, my office will go ahead and finish surveying it, because we had to survey it some just to do what we did with Road and Bridge. So we'll go ahead and finish surveying and get up all the mapping. And then I'll be probably before you ask, what do you want to do next? If you want to get a project designed with basically an urban style project is what it's gonna take.
Yeah.
So we'll finish that up this fall before winter. Decide. Been working with the Northeast Waterline Project. City is about complete. They're 90%. The water line's done, accepted. They're just going through and cleaning up now, and I'm working with them to clean up the right of way that you allow them to use on Gulch Road and Kidderly and Skeet Street. So we'll be doing that, getting topsoil put back and seeded and mulched, drainage established. That's all I have.
Questions? Kim? Thank you, sir. Thanks. Paul?
All guys, there really don't have much, but since I'm here, I'll give you guys an update on the homeowner exemptions. We only have last I looked Friday, we only have like 1,700 some signed up, which is a little alarming. Because they only have currently until February 2nd. That's a 25% exemption. We're advertising, we're handing flyers out everywhere I can, so anybody telling your friends and family, get online and sign up. The possibility they may, the legislature, talking where we're at, the legislature may discuss extending that to the fourth Monday in May as well, like the other long-term homeowner and veteran exemption, but that won't happen until February when the legislature starts, so we can't count on that. So February 2nd is still the current deadline. So just get the word out.
Will do.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Paul, if you would send me that flyer, because Commissioner Ards and I are gonna be on court close next week, I believe, so we can reiterate it again.
Perfect. Will do.
Good. Thanks, Paul. Ida?
Good morning, Chairman, Commissioners. Eva Shunt Thompson, County Clerk. I wanted to update you on the notice of the additional retail liquor licenses. I went ahead and advertised in the Sheridan Press. It's also on the website, county website. The advertising dates, I picked two, today, November 10th, and then November 17th, a week from now. And I thought we could start with that. And the following week being Thanksgiving, I decided not to pay for that. And see what kind of response we get as of December 1st. And then if you, based on any results, then we can decide and go forward. I'm happy to change that. If you want additional advertising, I can definitely add that. But decided to start with two and then the website.
Sounds reasonable to me.
Okay, Penrose Lane, the new county road. I just wanted to update you that per the resolution, the damages have been issued and those checks were mailed out in interim on November 11th. So those are in the mail. I wanted to update you on the mirrors in both the hallways on both floors. That I had come to you about with a request from my staff to see around corners. And then within the offices and the good work that your staff did in talking to other offices. And so I wanted to thank our emergency manager and our maintenance supervisor for getting that done and installed, and they are really nice. They do the job. Even coming out of the bathroom downstairs, you can look up and you can see, you know, anybody right outside the bathroom doors, not just our offices. So also the corner ones that they found, because our counters are so big and close to us, little corner ones in the corners that they found are nice too, because you can see if somebody's passed out or fallen down or tripped or, you know, hiding there to scare us and they're in costume or something.
Right.
So that's nice too. Then I wanted to update you on the empath monies. And I did submit a AP to be paid today to Kelly, requesting a check to Sherman Memorial Hospital in the amount of $1 million for the final payment of the county's contribution towards the impact unit. So in working with the treasurer and with my office, a lot of work was done behind the scenes and figuring out what all needed to happen financially, and the treasurer's decision to put it through AP and not the treasurer's check. So that's being processed today through AP.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Questions for Ida, anyone? Ida? Moving on, Diana.
Nothing, thank you.
Jesse?
No, sir.
Renee?
No.
Kelly?
No.
Amy? Levi? Clint? Cameron?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, good morning. Two items. The clerk sent out an email this morning. She forwarded from the State Department of Audit. The basis for this letter that's come out is going to every public entity in the state. And this is going to affect every government entity in the country. So normally you get a compliance supplement that's issued to the auditors, and this is for a single audit, federal funds. And if there's any changes, they tell the auditors, here's what we're looking for. That normally is issued in May, and to this date, they still have not issued that. So what that means is auditors cannot do a final audit document to any government entity until this compliance report comes out. So I'm talking with our auditors right now, but the letter is saying that we can ask for an extension. And what will happen with that extension is, doesn't matter the date that the feds release their new report, you have 45 days after that date. So we're waiting to see if that's something PMCH wants us to do. But their goal right now is trying to wrap up the audit by November 27th, I believe, and then around Thanksgiving. And then they'll have to issue a draft single audit. There's no way they can issue the final. So technically we have until December 31st, but what's causing us pause is it's not the government shutdown. This has been a delay from the feds since May, and we don't know when this is going to be done. So just giving you some caution. The other item is I had a request from the city of Sheridan and Habitat for Humanity. I know that Clint's been a little involved in this as well. The issue comes in that Habitat for Humanity International is questioning a document in the creation of the Housing Land Trust. And the ARPA funds that we use to create this, $1.5 million from the city, 1.5 from the county. And it's dealing with AMI, the Area Medium Income. Habitat for Humanity International normally does their Area Medium Income for eligibility at 60 to 80% of the AMI. The document that we're doing, we're trying to reach some of those middle incomes, so it went all the way up to 120%. Goes against that international organization's document. So Christine Dietrich has asked the city and the county to provide a letter of support explaining why it is that we are above that AMI. And that's what this draft letter is meant to represent, is explaining what it is, why we're above what they normally do for habitat. Now, the city's letter is very similar, but obviously some word changes. We do not know the exact address, so there's a possibility this address will change. But they're asking for a quick turnaround, like I only have through tomorrow to get a letter of support. So this puts you guys in a bind. It also puts city council into a bind as to what's going on. I don't know if Clint would like to add more, but the letter of support may be the fastest way to resolve this rather than starting from scratch with brand new documents. So did I cover everything?
Yes, you did.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Cameron, why do they need such a quick turnaround?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Pausing because I don't want to speak out of turn from Habitats, but my understanding is that they're about ready to close on some of the properties. And if they close on those properties and Habitat for Humanities International says, no, you can't do this, it puts all of those lots in jeopardy. So that is the reason, from my understanding, for the quick turnaround.
I guess a follow-up question is how long have they known that this could be an issue?
Mr. Chairman, yes, I do not have an answer on it.
I'm a little bit reticent to sign on to something without, I mean, obviously Commissioner Arzi and I were not present when the entire program came into being. And I've had a quick conversation with Clint, but that's it. I'm really opposed to going and citing something without having a little bit more thought to it for myself.
And Mr. Chairman, to echo your statement, all of this was done before I came on as well, so I basically have a few days and we spent the weekend trying to draft this. So I'm at a loss to be able to explain all the specifics in there. So I'm not trying to put you into a bind. I'm just passing on what was requested.
I understand.
I guess my question would be, I understand a very short turnaround. Would there be any way to put this on the upcoming Monday statute, just to give us a little bit of time to look into it?
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
My understanding is that delaying it, because I asked the same question, delaying it 1 week would put all the finalized contracts into jeopardy.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
I think the letter looks good. It explains the situation that we're in Sheridan. Being a part of this conversation, hearing the public say, we want the county and the city to do something about workforce housing. And this was our response to that.
Yeah.
The community said, we want you involved, but we don't want you that involved. And so, doing some research and knowing that we didn't want a housing authority, it's unfortunate that the International Habitat, the timing of that conversation, but I don't think there's, I guess what would the word be? I don't think there's any other stones to unturn. I don't know what we'd be finding out or could explain to you, Commissioner Arzi, especially knowing these folks are trying to close on their houses. I don't want to be the one that makes that fall through.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Hazel, I understand that concern, and I don't think anybody wants to be the person that says, hey, no, we're not gonna do this. I disagree with this particular program, all of it. But I also have made a promise not to just move forward with something really quick. I think it needs, specifically for myself, I'd like to look at the original contract. I'd like to see what this looked like. I wasn't here. You know, I don't want to cause a fly in the ointment, but at the same time, and I don't want to be voting on something that I don't have all the knowledge on either.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
If that is the wish of the board, all I can do is pass that along, saying that the commissioners will consider it at their next meeting. Just understand that that is not necessarily what we've been asked to do, and I'm just passing that on. But if it means that we wait a week, and right now it appears that it would fail, then we have no option. Waiting a week would probably be better than voting on something that will not be approved. And I'm not trying to put words in any of the board of your mouth. Please don't.
Commissioner Arce, are you the same way? Are you feeling the
I have a
same way?
question. I have a question for Mr. Bud. If they're gonna wait, if we're gonna wait a week to actually really look at this, those people that are up for these houses and the contracts that are supposed to get signed in, can't they just postpone their signing date?
Mr. Chairman, in theory, that would be the end result. I cannot speak for the banks and or Habitat as to what's going on, but yeah, that's exactly what will happen.
I mean, that's a fairly common practice in real estate, is the transaction, as far as I've been. I know that my closing date had been postponed twice before. So I'm just curious. It just seems like as if we're getting put in a position where we find something out, a phone conversation on a Thursday, and then next thing you know, on Monday, here it is right in front of us. And we don't have anything to reference back to as far as the original contract or anything like that. And I will say that I agree with Commissioner Jennings. I'm not in support of this program as a whole as it is. So I'd really like to take a look at it, because to me, it doesn't follow the Constitution of the state of Wyoming. It is not necessarily supported for, especially if you're going 20% above AMI. So I would really like to see the contract first. So I would be voting against this.
Very good.
I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I have nothing else.
Thank you. Commissioner Jennings, do you have anything else?
Mr. Chairman, on that last issue, can I request that we put it formally on next Monday's staff meeting?
Mr. Chairman, my apologies. That's my assumption. We'll put it on the agenda.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
I have nothing else.
Commissioner Arce?
I don't have anything right now.
Mr. Haswell?
I need to leave a little after 10, at 10:15, so just for some other meetings I had scheduled. It may not be an issue, but just a heads up. That's all I've got.
Mr. Chairman, I apologize. I did forget I needed to say something about one of my committee meetings tomorrow. We have Parks and Rec meeting, and the courthouse is closed tomorrow. However, we still will have it at 4:30. The doors will be unlocked. So if any of the public wants to attend, it will be there. I apologize, I forgot about that.
No worries. Very good. I'm going out of town tomorrow morning and we'll be back late Saturday, so still have my phone and we'll be in communication if you need me for anything. Moving on. We have our weed and pest quarterly update and annual report. Welcome in, Supervisor of the weed and pest.
Morning, Chair and Commissioners. Is this working? So yeah, I have our quarterly update today. I don't have our annual report. I won't have that wrapped up usually until like the end of January or so. So the first quarterly update in 2026, I'll be able to provide you guys with our 2025 annual report.
You can get right in there, Walt.
Okay. So just for our quarterly report, just talk about, I think the last time I was in here was August. So since August, it's, kind of been winding down. Fall is kind of our shoulder season. We're busy in the summer, kind of busy in the winter. But fall is kind of one of the transitionary times. So this fall we had an intern who was working with us for about a year and a half, and we hired her on full-time as an assistant supervisor. Her name's Jane. She's been great so far. She started in September. This fall we treated about 60,000 acres of invasive annual grasses. So it's Vetnata medusa head, we've talked a lot about before. And that's a big increase. I think last year was about 12,500, which was the biggest year that we've had by far. So 60,000 is a huge increase, and it's mostly in response to the elk fire and the rest of the fires that we had in 2024. Pretty much entirely funded by state and federal grants there. Started this fall on a revegetation project. We're doing some seeding out in the Dry Creek area. It's kind of a new thing for us, but we're trying to diversify the work that we do, and get some good guys seated out there. We just got back last week from our fall conference business meetings where all 3 weed and pest districts get together once a year and go over the business of the Weed and Pest Council. So like we said, that was in Jackson just a couple weeks ago. It went well. Nothing super important to report. We're starting to turn towards our winter projects, so we are hiring for seasonal, short-term positions to help with our salt cedar, Russian olive, invasive tree and shrub removal projects that we do out on the Powder River every year. It usually runs from late December, early January to about March. Other things this fall, working on, fall and early winter is our reporting season, so trying to work on all our reports from the summer, waiting on the federal government to reopen because we have a lot of bills out. We're waiting to be reimbursed for work that we've already done. And we have bills that we need to pay, but can't really pay those bills until the federal government pays their bills. So hopefully that'll be resolved. A lot of education stuff happens in the fall. We host shared college classes up at our office and go over invasive species and stuff like that. We go out to the schools, try to do as much community outreach as we can in the fall because we have the time to do it. So that'll be going on. And then it was interesting to hear Mr. Duff talk about the audit situation because we have a single audit going on for one of our federal grants. It's about $500,000. Doesn't. When you first see that email that your program's being audited, you're not super happy about it, but I'm actually glad because we're a small office and we do have a lot of federal funds and state funds moving through. And it's good to get a little bit of that extra oversight. So they're in the process of reviewing that. I look forward to seeing how it turns out. Shouldn't be an issue. We work hard on all of our financial controls. So. But that's all I have for a quarterly update. Be happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Walker, anyone?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman.
Walker, at your last update, I remember we were talking about the fact that cheatgrass had not been designated noxious weed. And you had said at that time that at the next round of meetings that you guys were going to discuss that. Was that brought up at all?
Yeah, it was. One of the main, there's a couple of reasons that it wasn't declared, put on our state noxious weed list. The main one was because there's some counties in the state, specifically the farming counties, so Bighorn Basin counties, that have quarantines in place that restrict the movement of farm products and farm goods and stuff. And they were worried that if cheatgrass got added to the state list, they wouldn't be able to ship their products out of the county. It wasn't entirely true. There would have been ways that we could have worked around that. But as part of our business meeting, we amended There are chapter 42 rules, and the rules that the Weed and Pest Council creates to kind of work out how we're going to work under the state statutes. And as part of those rules, we amended it so that we can, or an individual county can amend their quarantine instead of having to start from scratch every time. So that kind of cleared that question up. So if cheatgrass were to be added, they'd be able to just amend their quarantine so that cheatgrass wouldn't significantly impact their farm exports. So I expect that it'll be brought up again in the future, but it wasn't brought up again this year because this fall would have been the time where it would have been reproposed. It wasn't. So maybe in the future.
Other questions for Walker? Thank you, sir. Thank you all.
Thank you, Walker.
Next on our agenda, it's in the hallway. Brian Stewart.
Come on in.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Good morning.
Level Smith presentation on establishing a senior citizen service district for Wyoming statute 18-15-102.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With me today is our new,
You need to talk right into that microphone, sir.
with us today is our new executive director, Dustin Stevens, and then also our director of development, Ryan Tiska. I will try to keep this as short as possible. I know you all have a busy day. I sent a letter on behalf of the board to you, which outlines what the issue is that we are presenting to you today. We've been talking about this issue for several years. We have seen a continued increase in the services that we provide to our community, primarily because we have more seniors living in Sheridan County. And their needs, the services that we provide are very diverse because no one individual in our community has the same set of facts in their life. And you can't pigeonhole people to say, well, we only need to provide meals, we only need to provide transportation because every situation is different. We've tried to meet that commitment for the last 50 years, and we've successfully done it through a significant amount of community support, through an incredible group of volunteers, through funding from the state, the federal government, and also from the county and the city. And then the foundation. Sheridan is a very giving community. We are very fortunate to have what we have in Sheridan County, and they step up to the plate. But what we're seeing is that demand continues to grow and our costs continue to grow. And so we've been trying to find a way to stabilize that funding over the years, for future years. And one way to do that is to create a special senior citizen service district in Sheridan County. And we held off on doing it because we were very sensitive to the issues surrounding property taxes, increased appraisals for homes, because a lot of people in a ranching community, you're asset rich but cash poor. And it's difficult at times for people to balance out their books. And we've been very sensitive to that. But we also recognize that we have an obligation. And so we decided as a board recently to approach the Board of Commissioners and ask them to put on the ballot in August 2026 a question to the voters as to whether or not they would want to form a senior citizen special district. What's interesting about this statute, and I've talked to Commissioner Jennings multiple times on this issue, statute provides that it can go on the ballot in one of two ways. One, by resolution of the Board of Commissioners, and two, by a petition of the voters. It's kind of a unique way to do things. If you have a fire district or you have an improvement service district, you know, those citizens form the boundaries of their district and present a petition to you. There are 9 counties currently with senior districts. Fremont County has 3 service districts within the boundaries of their county. So it would make sense to do a petition to define what those boundaries are
and to get the input from those residents. Bighorn County has a northern service district and a southern service district. And I'm assuming that's because that's how the towns, the population bases lay out. And again, I don't think the Board of Commissioners would want to be deciding where those districts should be formed within the county. And so a petition seems like a very logical way to do that. On the other hand, a countywide district, you're the elected officials that represent the county, the people in the community. And it would seem logical to me, everyone may not agree with that, and that's fine. But it seems like that would be the authority that the county commissioners would have and could act upon. Obviously, that's the quickest way or the most direct way to get the issue before the voters. And so that is what our thought was when we requested that the board do it by resolution. I looked up the Natrona County recently adopted a special district, and that was done through resolution by the board. In Goshen County, there's a group of citizens who've approached the board asking them to create a district, and those discussions have just gotten underway. So we recognize it's within your authority to do it either way. We're going to live with your decision. You're the elected officials. Obviously, the quickest way to get it before the voters would be by resolution, and that's what we would ask for. And with that, I'm happy to answer any and all questions, and I have some backup to help.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
how does Campbell County do it? The county just operates it, correct?
Well, I'm familiar with that, as a matter of fact, because I used to work for the Board of Commissioners.
Okay.
And Senior Center is a county-run
Yeah.
operation. They appoint the members. Obviously, they have a tax base that's significantly, just a slight bigger than the county.
I know, well,
The one I don't know about, Commissioner Haswell, is what they do in Sweetwater County, because you have two populations, Green River and Rock Springs, and they each have a senior center.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know how they do that down there.
Yeah. Okay.
Other questions?
Mr. Chairman, this isn't a question, but a clarification. Today is a discussion. It would actually go on to a regular agenda for approval. So I didn't want you to feel that you had to actually vote on something today.
And Mr. Chairman, what would the timing of, it could happen anytime between now and when? Or not now. but
Earliest
like our
would be
next
December
board
2nd.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, if you want to give them enough time, if you decide not to go that route, that they can get the petitions. And I think the ultimate deadline is still after the petitions have to come back to the commissioner. So in May, maybe Clerk Thompson would know the ultimate deadline that they have to submit it to the clerk's office.
Yeah, we would, if you decide to go that route, we'd prefer to know earlier so that we could work with the clerk.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones who have to verify all the signatures. And with the changes in the election laws, there's a lot of people who don't realize that they're no longer on the rolls, because if they didn't vote in the general election, they need to go in and re-sign up down there. So we would just hope to have a decision that way, earlier rather than later.
Gotcha. Other questions, comments?
Mr. Chairman, I'll save my comments for when it comes before the board, other than, I appreciate Brent coming in and having great discussions about this. I think it's very clear for anybody. I would more lean towards, the idea of, petition, because I think there needs to be citizen buy-in. And I think that's the best way to determine that.
Just a question, how, if it's put on the ballot, is that not community buy-in? When they could decide either way, which way they wanted to go. We wouldn't want to put it out to the community?
No, let me clarify what I'm saying. I believe that a petition, I don't think putting taxes on the people should ever just be easy. And I think it's very easy to come before us as a board and say, okay, you do the resolution. that moves forward, that's it, then it just goes on the ballot. I want the citizen input of, hey, we think this is an important enough project that we're going to sign in for a petition of 15%. It's obvious that that's our legislature. They thought that it was good to have both options available. And I prefer that option because I think it certainly shows, hey, if you can get 15% of the voting public that says, yes, we want this, okay, that's buy-in.
Okay.
So thank you very much for the discussions that we've had. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Anybody else, questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
And thank you for coming in front of us, and I am actually in favor of what you're trying to do with this. I also believe that this ain't when I think that it should be a petition, or not through the county commissioners. I think it should be through the voters themselves to decide. And I really personally don't think you're gonna have any trouble getting 15% on of support of this issue to get it on the ballot. I really think that it'll be the best way to do it.
Thank you.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I guess we'll have more discussion when it's on the agenda.
I'm sure.
But I would love to meet the new director. I don't know
Yes.
if you could come up and introduce yourself.
Please.
Thank you, Chairman, Board of Commissioners. I appreciate it. My name is Kelsey Stevens. I've been in Sheridan for about 6 years now, so I'm still getting my feet wet in Sheridan, but I really appreciate you guys having us here and talk about this very important issue. A little bit of background on me, excuse me. I've kind of been in the nonprofit sector and serving people my entire life, from the military to overseas missions to church work to now serving as the executive director of, and I'm really excited to do it. Really excited to be here and jump on board and see what's next for that. So I'd be happy to answer any questions, but I appreciate you guys having us and your time this morning.
Very good. Thanks for.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Questions?
Mr. Chairman, just a comment. First of all, congratulations, and then also thanks for your service, and look forward to hearing more from you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. All right. If there's nothing else, anything else, Brandon?
No, I just, in my prior life, I used to work for the Board of Commissioners in Gillette. So it's very unusual to be on this side of
I'm sorry about that.
I'm comfortable sitting where Clint is. But anyway, I appreciate you all. And I know that you support, to me, that's not the question today. The question is, how do we get it before the voters? We have 475 volunteers in the community. Some of them are in this room. And so we know that what we do is good. We know that it makes the community better. And that's what we're just trying to do, is make sure that we continue that on.
Well, we're glad you're in Sheridan County, Ben.
Yeah. Yeah, well, absolutely. Thank you. All right. Nothing else. I'm going to say we're adjourned at 9:48.
Brother, his one next meeting.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
One next meeting.